Hey guys, Hyundai here. Today we're going to look at how to change a tyre on a Hyundai Santa Fe, and I believe this covers the models from 2007 all the way through to the present day model. So the first thing you have to do is go to the back of your car, go to the tailgate, or in Australia we like to call it the boot, and find at the end of the luggage compartment you'll find where the tools you need are located. Pull this handle here and expose the tools. Now first, the tool that you have, which you'll need, is the wheel brace. The second tool you'll need is a jack handle. And the last tool, the most important one, is the jack itself. The next step is to locate the hex bolt, which will lower the spare tyre, which is located underneath your car, underneath the luggage rack or underneath the bottom of the car. So we'll go over to here, and it actually says spare tyre on the cap here. And just use a key or anything you can, maybe a coin is best, and just turn that cap there until you loosen it, and it just screws off, exposes the hex bolt, and then pick up the wheel brace and put that over the top of the hex bolt, and you'll be turning that counterclockwise. And just keep turning that, keep turning it, keep turning it, keep turning it until you lower the wheel, the spare wheel, all the way to the bottom of the ground. And keep lowering it, keep turning this counterclockwise so you can pull out the tyre a little bit. I'll need to do it a little bit more. And what you want to do is you want to be able to get at this bit here, which is actually holding the tyre in place. So I have to actually lower that a bit more. That's what I want to do, is I want to be able to push the part that's holding the tyre back through like that, so I can release the wheel. Now I can drag the wheel out and get it ready to change the tyre. So the next thing you want to do is grab the wheel brace, the jack handle, and the jack itself, and what you want to do is locate the position on the car which you're going to place the jack. Now the jack position is actually a welded on plate, and it's just near the bottom of each wheel arch, whether it's the back tyres or the front tyres. Now I'm going to today just look at the back tyre. So if we go underneath the car here, we can see this area here. If I can try to get it on the camera, just that area there is actually a welded on plate, and that's where you want to place the jack. Now the first thing you want to do before actually even placing the jack into position is you want to loosen up the nuts on the wheel that you're taking off the car by placing the wheel brace over the nuts and turning it counterclockwise. You've got to do this while it's on the ground, because it's much easier to loosen the nuts while the tyre's on the ground than it's actually lifted off the ground, believe it or not. So you turn that counterclockwise and loosen each of those nuts and go around in a circular motion like that until you've got them all loosened up. and you get them as loose as possible. And then you go over to the jack, which you've placed into position on the jack position, and place the, now this is not how they tell you to do it in the manual, but I find this much easier. So actually just place the jack handle through the hole in the jack and just start turning it clockwise, and move the jack handle like that, and just keep moving the jack handle like that, backwards and forwards, and turning clockwise, and you'll find it's a lot easier to get the tyre off the ground that you're changing, rather than using this wheel brace over the top of the jack handle in the hole provided, which actually they show in the user manual of the car as well. So I like to use this method to actually turn the jack and get the tyre off the ground. Now once you've lifted the tyre off the ground, and it's got to be a fair distance off the ground, I think it's about 30 millimeters they say, I think, to actually be able to pull the wheel off the car and change the tyre. Now once you've taken this tyre off and put the new one on, now today I'm not actually going to do it because I don't need to do it, but another tip, when you are taking the nuts off, if you find it a bit difficult to loosen them, and you know, to be truthful, these things are mostly put on with air tools inside the tyre shops, and so they're quite tight. So don't fear, once you put the wheel brace on, don't fear using your boot on that to get a bit of leverage to push down on the nut to change it, or even if you have to, use something a bit heavier than this to tap on the nut to loosen it a bit. Now last time I changed the tyres, I actually used a sledgehammer to get the nuts loose, because it was just so difficult, because the air tools down at the local tyre shop had really whacked it on tight. Now once you've changed the tyre, you just pull that tyre off and put the new one on. Now very important, when you go to tighten the nuts back up, you need to do it in opposite positions. So you don't want to tighten them all up in a circle like that, because what you'll find then is parts of the tyre will be tighter than others, and you'll either wreck the wheel or you'll be driving along the highway and the tyre will come off because it's sheared off. So what you want to do is you want to tighten the nuts in a position like, say, start there, then tighten that one, then tighten that one, then tighten that one, tighten that one, and do it all gradually. Don't tighten all this one up and then the other ones are loose. Do a little bit here, little bit here, little bit here, little bit there, little bit there, and until it's all tightened and it's all tightened evenly around the wheel. The jack under the car, and we could just turn it with our hand first. Now this time we're actually turning it clockwise, and we keep raising it until we get to a point where we can place it snug underneath that that position, that welded on plate, which is the jack position. And keep turning it with our fingers, and then we finally get it onto that snug part of the plate. And then what we do then is we place the jack handle into that position there, and we place the wheel brace and the jack handle into, you can see that hole on the wheel brace, place that over the top, over the jack handle, like so, and then you can start turning that. And I actually don't like to do it. Oops. I don't actually like to do it this way. The way I like to do it is I just place the jack handle through this hole like that, and I turn it that way, and I just keep going like that until I raise the car up. And what you need to do is you need to raise the car up. I believe it's at least 30 millimeters to get the tyre off the ground. Yeah, I'm fine, man. Once you've finished replacing the tyre, you need to put the jack back down. So do it the same way that I did it before, and start taking it off counterclockwise. And once it's loose a bit, you can just do it with your hand. Tighten it all the way down, and pick up all your tools and put them back in the car. Put them back into their positions. So you can put that one back, but keep the wheel brace out because you'll need that to tighten back the spare tyre. So get the wheel brace back onto the hex bolt, ready for you to tighten back the spare. Come to the bottom of the car again and get this, push the tyre in a bit until you can get that little brace back into position again. Push it through the tyre so it's underneath like that. Push the tyre back in a bit and start turning the wheel brace. This time you're doing it in a clockwise direction because you're bringing the tyre back up, and you'll see it start to lift, and it'll actually pull itself into place itself. And just keep turning it, keep turning the wheel brace around, and it'll start to lift off the ground and it'll start to go into place. Keep turning this. Now this goes for when you're putting the tyre back into place, and also when you're lowering it. Be careful that you don't turn this too much and damage the cable in the system, because that'll be a real problem then. And now I can put the wheel brace back into place and put the cap back over the top of the hex bolt. So I'll turn that back on as best I can. Tools that we used, the jack handle, the jack and the wheel brace are back in their position in the luggage rack. Now what I'll just quickly do is I'll just go around to the front of the Santa Fe and just show you where the other jack positions are on the front wheels, in case you have to change the front wheel. So you'll see that welded plate, exactly like the back wheel, is here up the front of the car at the bottom of the front driver's side wheel arch, and it's the same on the passenger side, and of course it's same on the back tyre on the passenger side as well. So I hope you find that video useful. Now you can see similar instructions in the Santa Fe manual, but like I said, there's a few little tips and tricks that they don't tell you about in the manual. which hopefully I've shared with you today on the video. Stuff like using the jack handle just by itself to turn the jack, rather than placing the jack handle into the bottom of the wheel brace like they tell you in the manual. I just find it much easier to do it my way. So I hope you enjoy, and just remember a few safety precautions as well. Only ever change your tyres on a flat level surface. Don't try to change the tyre on an unlevel surface. It's going to be very hard. It's more likely that the jack's going to give way and the vehicle's going to crash to the ground. Also, don't ever put any of your body parts, so your legs, your arms or your torso, any part of your body, underneath the car while the jack is in position, because jacks can move and you'll be in a whole lot of hurt then. So hope you enjoyed, and good luck changing your next flat tyre.